Hi guys, we have a 2014 Renault Koleos here. It's got a failed lower tailgate latch. So just going to run through a bit of a guide to show you how to remove the old latch as the tailgate's currently stuck in there, and we'll replace it with a new one as well as a modification. If you are interested in adding the plastic limiters to your existing latch mechanism on your Koleos, or if you are fitting a new set of latch mechanisms due to previous failures, you can follow the details below to get your hands on a set. So to start off with, we'll remove this cover. That will reveal 2 bolts. There's 2 bolts here using a 10mm socket. We remove this handle here so we can get to this plastic trim. So you can see some of the handle there. On the interior side of the boot here, we will start by removing these 2 side panels. There's one this side and there is another over here. One, and we'll do the same to the other side. That one. Now that we have the 2 interior side panels off, we can go on to the next step, which is to get in behind here and remove this rear panel. It is on the interior side. So there's a parting line that runs all the way along here. We've just got to get in there and start off with one side, and then those clips being held on, you can unclip all those. Just a bit of force. Got to be careful with the edges there. Don't want to damage the trimming. And there's a couple more clips down below. Disengage those. What we can do at this point, all the clips disengaged. So I can see down below that all the clips have disengaged or been unclipped. I sort of have to deform this a bit and slide it up, and this is where it's important to have removed those 2 interior side panels. So it just slides up like that. You're sort of pushing towards the car and pulling up. And now just got to find a way out. So as you can see, just remove that interior panel. You might see some clips come off. Slide them back in place before they go back on. We'll put that aside for now. So next step here is to remove this top panel. On the interior side there is a screw from the interior side. This is that one screw we've just got to remove with a Phillips head. Next step is to pull this top panel up. It's just held in by clips. Put enough force and the whole thing will come up. So the next bit is to try get inside the 2 latches, unlatch them manually to get the lower tailgate open so we can do a replacement. So what I've got here is a second-hand one that I've got my hands on, and just to show you what we're attempting to do when we're putting our hands down there is currently it is in the latched position there, and what we're trying to do is pull back this piece in behind here. This piece is likely the culprit of the lower tailgate not latching, so what we've got to try to do is pull that back, and as you can see that disengaged, and that's exactly what I want to do for both sides. You may need a tool to get in between here and to pull that back, but I find that just using my hands to get in there and putting a force down, so into the latch, and pulling it to the left there will do the job. Let me try give it a go on the actual car. You're unlikely to see too much due to some of the covers in place. So here, putting my hand in, and here, there you go. So just pull that, you are delatching the mechanism. So I'll do that on this side and the other side. So as you can see, we had unlatched the lower tailgate. So before I remove the old one, I've got the two side by side, and you can see in here that there's the cable here, and the end, it's got nothing to actually attach to, whereas what it should look like is the cable should sit inside this little plastic housing there, and as you pull the cable, which I've just done on the other end, it unlatches the mechanism. Can't do that with the one on the car at the moment, as that plastic housing has been damaged. Can't seem to find it, so it's probably somewhere inside the tailgate. Have a look at the other side here. There is still the plastic housing. It's a little bit loose. So it's probably it's on its way out. Hasn't been totally damaged yet, but you can see there I'm just pulling the latch and the cable, and you can see it's not coming back, so it's already part way damaged. So this is a pretty good one to have a look at and see, you know, what's actually happened there. So before we start removing the bolts here, what we should do is mark out where this this whole latch sits relative to the tailgate, just to make sure with the new one we sit in roughly the same position for the actual mechanism itself. Due to tolerances, this is just best practice. So you can mark it on your tailgate, but I'm just using a bit of masking tape there to give me a rough guide. All four bolts are off on that one side. So at this point there's the right side, or the driver's side, and the passenger side. Driver's side is the short cable side. So what we have to do at the area of the handle is on the ends here, we just have to pull these out from the actual handle mechanism, and I can do that by hand from the inside, and just using going in from two sides. This latch that, pull this cable up, and you can slide out the cable end, push it towards the car, and there's that bit end there. and that's been disengaged. Now that we have this driver's side disengaged at the handle, we'll pull this out and the cable should just come out like that. And we can just repeat it on the other side. So now onto the handle mechanism. Again, what we do, go from inside and up here, and we push on this rubber end, pull it up, slide it out. There we go. So at this point, we can remove the passenger side of the latch mechanism. So what we're going to do now, before we replace the latches with these new ones that I've just got my hands on, is have a look at the mechanism. And what you can see is when you pull on the cable, what you can see there is, after you latch it, and you pull on the cable here, what you see happen is you pull halfway and it already unlatches. What happens at the handle is, if you can actually continue pulling, and you'll continue pulling and it'll stop at the next point there. And it's not because it's hit the end of the plastic white bit. Down further below, it's bottomed out. And so what happens is, at your handle, you'll continue applying tension. And what this does is overstresses this bit of plastic here. That bit of plastic is just a bit of, it's insert molded over a metal piece, and the walls of this plastic housing here is only about 1 millimeter to a millimeter and a half in thickness. So there's not much material there. And so what you're essentially doing there is just loading it up, and over time that's just deteriorating and failing. So what we're going to do is, we've got these pieces here, they act as limiters. So we've got an internal profile there that matches the end of this, and the way it's been designed is you just pop it on. It essentially clamps over and around this existing cable end here. And so what that does is it will, so we'll just show you how that goes on. So that's not quite on yet, so we've got to apply a bit of pressure and just pops on. Right, and so now when you latch, what we do on the other end is pull the cable, and it hits this limiter before it bottoms out further down. And so what it does is, at this point, it just keeps the tension in the cable and reduces the moment applied onto the plastic housing, which is a common point of failure here. So what this should do is provide you with a lot more longevity out of this latch mechanism without the plastic failing there. You'll get many more years out of these mechanisms. So with that fitted, we'll fit these on both driver's and passenger side, and start the process of bolting these back into position.